We are ready. Good morning, everybody. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation for Monday, August 11th, 2014. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meetings and are free to ask questions at any time. Consistent with the policy of our parent corporation, we welcome public comment. On the following agenda, each item is presented, and any comments are received from the directors. We will allow members of the public to provide comments. All comments should be limited to 2 minutes and should only address the item that is under consideration. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on today's agenda.
Yes, this is Director Colligan, and I have a client that of our law firm is the subject of the second item, so I will be recusing myself.
Okay, thank you. If we would please note that. If so, and I would also ask that we would then have them recuse themselves, which you're waiting to do. You will do. The foregoing having been noted for the record, our first order of business is the approval of minutes of the directors' meeting of March 10, 2014. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'll now ask Tom to request authorization for the corporation to enter into a general construction services contract in connection with the illumination of the connecting terminal grain elevator. Tom?
Thank you, Robert. Let me frame this in a bigger picture before we start. I want to back up a little bit to back in March of 2013, where this board of directors accepted the visual master plan and authorized the staff to take related action. And based on that director's authorization for Phase 1, today we're coming back and talking about Phase 1A. So this is something that we've had in the works for some time. Also qualifying that due to public bidding law, Wick's law was utilized where we have two separate bids. So in the big picture, we're actually combining two bids. At the time we did the master plan, we had, you probably remember, a budget allocation of $2.2 to $2.8 million. Today's bid comes in at $2.9 million when you add it up with a contingency. So if we take the lowest responsible bidders in both cases, add them up and add 15% contingency, we're in at $2,927,210. And then what we do is we compare that now to an estimate, a professional estimate that was put together, which is $3,199,32 from Bear Estimating Firm. So on the positive side, what we can say is that we're about 8%, a little over 8% under the budget that was established from the professionals doing the estimating. So I want to get that out on the so everybody can understand that before we get to the specifics. Now going back to the general contracting, whole industrial services is the general construction services. That's a contract that we would like to approve. From a contract amount not to exceed $1,167,710, which is their bid number plus 15% contingency, and the funding will come from NYPA. We made drawings available at the Floyd Albert office, Buffalo Construction Exchange for contractors. We also placed announcements of the bid opportunity in the Buffalo Criterion, the Challenger, Panorama, and the Black Capital Network. We had pre-bid meetings and a site tour, and 23 people attended the meeting. A total of 3 proposals were received on July 10th at 2 o'clock. And you can see in your books on page 2 that whole industrial services is the low bidder based on the base bid and the alternate for a total of $1,015,400, which is what I stated on the previous page. It's Boyd Albert's recommendation based on their professional expertise, based on their engineering report, and based on the Bear estimate, and based on our staffing that we move forward and award this contract. All work in this contract will be completed by next June, I believe is our completion date. And we've also accepted the add alternate, which is the way we packaged this was to add the add alternate, which is the western elevation, so that all four sides are illuminated. And we've already been through the dollar amounts, and what I would say is the requested action, the directors are requested to make a determination of responsibility with respect to the proposed contractor, authorize the corporation to enter into a contract with Whole Industrial Services for the amount not to exceed $1,167,710, issue a notice to proceed not to exceed $50,000, take all related actions. The recommendation, based on the foregoing, I recommend approval of the requested actions.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions from directors? Maria?
I just have a question about the discrepancy in the base bid between the other contractors that bid. I mean, that third one, Kirst Construction, is more than double the cost of the base bid that Hull introduced.
Sure.
And, sometimes when you see that kind of a discrepancy, it just makes you sort of think a little bit more about where they were coming from.
Right.
What was the selection committee's thoughts on that?
Yeah, so what we think is that Hull has worked on the site before.
Okay.
They have worked with NIPA in the past and did significant work. So they had a better advantage in terms of knowing the site, and we think that was their competitive advantage to get the numbers where they are. Their schedule of values was reviewed with our scheduler. I say our scheduler, the Bear Company's schedulers, and lined everything up. And the other guy, we didn't interview the third bidder. He was so far out, and that happens, as you know. So in interviewing the bidders that we did in terms of de-scoping, we were satisfied that this contractor can do the work, and they are the most familiar with the site, which we're very happy about.
Okay. Any comments from the public? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Moved by Director DiVirgilio, seconded by Director Hoyt. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Abstentions? Director Colligan abstaining. Thank you. Tom, how about the second contract for the electrical lighting?
Yep. So this is authorization to enter into a contract for the electrical construction on the connecting terminal green elevators and authorization to take related action. Contractor is Fry Electric. The contract term is September of 2014 through June, and a not to exceed of $1,759,500 plus a 15% contingency. So $1,530,000 plus a 15% contingency, with a not to exceed of $1,759,500, and that's also part of NIPA. So everything in the previous conversation stands in terms of the widths, in terms of the meetings that we held, in terms of the advertisements that we held, in terms of the way the process worked, that we and Floyd Albert interviewed the two lowest bidders. We had multiple meetings with the low bidder, and we wanted to make sure that everything in their estimate was comparable to our estimators. And so you can see the spread, and Fry is the low bidder, and we consider them to be the responsible low bidder, of course. And again, everything is similar in terms of the completion date, in terms of the ad alternate being included, and the dollar amounts have already been identified. So I think I would just move right to the recommendation. Requested action, the directors are requested to make a determination of responsibility with respect to the proposed contractor, authorize the corporation to enter into a contract with Fry Electric for the amount of not to exceed $1,759,500, issue a notice to proceed in the amount of not to exceed $50,000, and take all related actions. The recommendation is based on the foregoing. I recommend approval of the requested actions.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions or comments from the directors? Maria.
Similarly, was Fry Electric also familiar with the site? Or, I mean, what do you think is kind of supporting their really competitive bid?
Well, I think that in our meetings with Fry, it was that they've done lighting projects like this. So they didn't work necessarily on the NIPA property that I'm aware of, but they did do the Peace Bridge lighting. So they had extensive lighting history. They're a large contractor that has incredible buying power, and matching them up with our electrical estimator, we came to the conclusion that they were a very responsible bidder, and we thought that their numbers, they will stand behind their numbers. We went through the scope, and everything seemed to match out. They have a as a large contractor, significant buying power, and we were pretty impressed with that.
And with the case of O'Connell, we did not interview them.
I'm sorry.
Did we interview O'Connell?
We did interview O'Connell, and we just didn't think they had the buying power. Well, let me restate this now. South Buffalo we interviewed,
Okay, but
and
not-
O'Connell we did not interview, but
because
we
they're
did.
also double. I mean,
Right,
their bid is
right,
also double.
and we did receive a letter from O'Connell saying that we think the low bidder is not the low responsible bidder. So I think that we have done the due diligence that's necessary, working with the architect and engineer, working with the professional estimator, and working with our construction staff to lay out our schedule of values to their schedule of values. We think that we're on target, and that Fry is certainly a responsible bidder.
Sorry, did you say that O'Connell sent us a letter claiming that Fry was not?
They did.
Interesting. And what was the foundation of their basis?
We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, Maria? Any other questions from directors? Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Items carried. Tom, for your president's report?
Thank you. Last Thursday at Canal Side under brilliant sunshine in the Central Wharf, we enjoyed another Thursday concert, this one highlighting the BPO. Our musical diversification this year has been widely expanded to include music and dance series, Battle of the Bands, Acoustic Sunset, Open Mic Series. The 2014 Canal Side season is in the midst of an amazing summer. Every event is anywhere from 30 to 300% more popular than last year. We recently received a note from Explore and More stating that they had nearly 600 visitors last Friday, which nearly triples the average attendance from previous years. So we're just hitting it out of the park in terms of the population, in terms of people coming to Canal Side. The vibe is just absolutely amazing. There's always something to do with Canal Side, 100 of events, something to do for everyone. The event highlights the season, the story of Buffalo at the ruins, the enhanced concert experience with VIP access and food and beverage. Our calendar for events this summer can be viewed at canalsidebuffalo.com. It's always interesting to look on there and see whether there's 10 events or 20 events for the day, and you think about all the natural things that are there that you can include to that list. Clinton's Dish has been updated. The dish is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily and includes a beer and wine garden. It's the best place to relax by the water and enjoy the view. There's been a unique transformation to the space and provides a great customer experience. Art Service Initiative, another successful season highlighted this past Thursday with 3 new art exhibits at Canal Side. From a media marketing standpoint, the marketing at Canal Side with our city, our waterfront campaign has been hugely successful. Canal Side is truly the place to be in Western New York this summer. Facebook now has nearly 50,000 likes, and Twitter has 15,000 followers. The public uses our social media as well as canalsidebuffalo.com to find out what's happening, to ask questions, and they give us feedback, which we like. Design updates: South R Block, restaurant, children's museum, mixed-use comfort station. Schematic design phase was completed, and we'll move into design development phase after review. Construction updates: 1 Canal Side. The Marriott ribbon cutting was celebrated last Friday. We're happy to report that occupancy and excitement level is off the charts. Congratulations to the Benderson Development Company. Harbor Center, we're witnessing continued progress on an amazing project. Ohio Street construction is in full swing, 2 months ahead of schedule. East Canal, coupled with the excitement of Courtyard Marriott, customers love the public space, including the fountains, piano, bistro tables, and chairs. It's a great example of placemaking where we have designed an area that's true enjoyment to the public as well as customers to 1 Canal Side. Historically aligned canals. Progress is apparent. 2 bridges have been installed, with a third to arrive the 19th of this month. Vertical granite installation is progressing and is about 80% complete. Earthwork and rough grade elevations are established on the south side, and the ice slab is scheduled to begin in a couple weeks. We had a favorable court decision this past last Friday, and Steve Golick is at the table to give us a report on that.
Yeah, there were 3 issues that were decided on Friday by the Appellate Division of the Fourth Department on issues that have been decided against Erie Canal Harbor and the lower court. The first concerned where the contractor was permitted to dispose of soils The contractor had some alternate sites, and Erie Canal Harbor's position has always been that it had to go to a sanitary landfill. We were successful on that with the appellate division finding that our decision on where it had to be was correct under the terms of the contract. The second issue concerned the contractors claimed that they were entitled to a substitute of granite for what was called for in the specification. Again, the court found in our favor and found that Erie Canal Harbor determination, which had rejected the contractor's substitution, was proper. The last issue concerned Travelers and the bonding company and its ability to settle claims on behalf of the contractor. The decision on Friday reversed the lower court's determination that prohibited Travelers from settling claims on behalf of the contractor. That's pretty much it. As litigation is ongoing, I mean, that's really all that I'll say about the case.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, in closing, just two things. Outer Harbor, excitement moving forward. This fulfills the promise of the governor's vision. Last week, additional public meetings kept the excitement level very high. And then Canal Side, the success is really off the charts. What people have said in the past doesn't feel like Buffalo. And I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. In the past weekend, I was presented with a new reflection of what we've accomplished. I feel like a tourist in my own town. And I thought that was really an incredible thing for somebody to say. And that's it. Thank you.
Any questions, comments, observations from any directors?
Just a comment. Tom, your report reflects, I think, what everybody in this room has seen and witnessed. I was at Canal Side Saturday night, and while there wasn't a performance or anything at 9:30, there were people everywhere. Families, strollers, Clinton's Dish, a lineup of people getting a beer, getting an ice cream cone. I also, Sunday, and Mr. Chairman, I'd suggest you consider making this a mandatory exercise for all board members. I kayaked the Buffalo River with family, and it's a spectacular experience. And again, a long line of people, had to wait to get a reservation, but just amazing things happening, and good reflection of an incredible team of people, Tom, that you have at Erie Canal Harbor Development Corp. Again, small staff, all of whom work long, hard hours, and the success is very, very evident. And final comment is, we'll do a kind of a post-mortem after the season is over with, but at first glance, Global Spectrum, our new contractor, I think is doing a spectacular job.
Right.
I'm interested in knowing about the social media maintenance. It sounds like it's very robust right now.
Right.
Who's in charge of that, and how's it being updated and managed?
Sure. So from a staffing standpoint, Jill Clark heads that up, and she does a great job with that. We've had help with Eric Maurer and Associates have done a good job kind of setting the platform with that. So between the two, and then just the public adding, the public has been great to contribute. And I'm telling you, every time you walk down to the site, you get somebody to stop you and just tell you how much they enjoy it. And I think the social media fits right in now, and whether it's face-to-face or coming back in a Twitter account or Facebook, but the public is just wildly excited about what's going on. And there's so much going on. It's interesting, as Sam said, when the season ends, and I'm thinking, you know what? In the future, the season won't end because we're going for 12 months. And our season's going to continue. It's going to evolve, and we'll have different seasons. Right now, while we're busy monitoring and managing the summer season, we're planning the winter season. So our seasons are going to continue, and they're going to flourish.
Thank you.
You bet.
Anyone else? I just would like to add to both Sam's and David's comments about the staff here and all the complexities that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So to all of you that are here, and even to your colleagues that are not, a debt of gratitude on behalf of the entire board. And also the folks in New York City, they've been spending a lot of time with us, especially on the Outer Harbor, and I see Kevin there and others. So, I don't think most in this community recognize the progress that we've made over the last 6 months, especially with the Outer Harbor and everything else that we're doing. So, it's a credit to everybody and our partners and our parent down in New York City. So if you would please send our gratitude, debt of gratitude to them as well, I'd certainly appreciate it.
So you're not going to make the kayaking mandatory?
Well, I wasn't done, Mr. Vice Chairman, or Mr. President. I mean, it is mandatory, but I can't tell people what to do or where to go because you know what happens when that happens. But anyway, having done it myself, I would urge everyone to take advantage of it, and it certainly is it's a great history tour of the years of the real growth in this community, and I think everyone is starting to really feel pretty good about everything else.
One other comment. The Commissioner of Environment...
It was that big!
I think that
It was
big.
really, really like this big.
If you haven't been on
big,
Facebook
yeah.
and seen the size of the fish that Maria White caught in Lake Erie?
Yes, Lake Erie, yes.
I believe-
It's a wonderful tribute to the lake's health, on this end of the lake. I mean, we ate that fish. It was delicious, yeah.
I believe everything I see in the news, and
Yeah.
you got a grin from ear to ear with this.
Yes. Yeah, I've got the proof, though. I do this time. So, yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank
and
you.
it certainly was a lot of work to bring it in.
It was 200. I mean, I swear to you, it was 217 times I had to turn the reel to bring in that fish because I looked down at the ticker on the reel and the captain said, however many times it says, that's what you got to do. 217 times I had to bring in that 14-pound fish. So, yes, it really. I did, and then I wrestled it just like the Buffalo News said. So, yes.
Man,
Yes.
good for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And you saw a white doe.
I saw
yeah, right.
a white
Yes, so
deer
more-
while paddling
Yeah.
the Buffalo River, an albino deer on the side of the river.
So lots of natural habitat here in West
Well, and I think one of the very interesting points that Perkins and Will mentioned about the outer harbor, it's bordered by Times Beach and Tip on each end. So we have a lot of natural habitat, and I think it's going to be really exciting once we finalize the plan and bring it to the public in September. So with all that, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.